This is the Good Government Show.
The best wine comes from grapes that are grown under stress. The best wine does not come from, this nice fertile field. It comes from these grapes. And it's kind of, I equate this to like people, is that you got more character if you're growing under stress. I believe that hope has to be based upon resolve. The first counties were in the 1600s. They were called shires, and in areas in Virginia and in other places where our country was just fledgling and coming forward. And so counties have always been there, and they always will be there. I tell everybody my real political party is the Get Stuff Done Party, the GSD party. Oh, good government is all about delivering results, just each and every day, imperfect, relentless progress. I refuse to subject my children to a pessimistic future.
I'm a member of the Get Stuff Done Party, says James Gore, the outgoing president of the National Association of Counties. That's not exactly what he said, but you'll hear all that coming up. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. On this episode, I talked with James Gore. He was a guest back in December of 2023, back in Season 3, so feel free to go back and listen to that too. But first, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share our show with your friends and review us where you're listening. And join our Good Government Show community. Check out our website for the links. James Gore is a county supervisor from Sonoma County, California, and for the past year he was president of the National Association of Counties. I wanted to catch up with James after his one-year term as president. Our conversation left me with two big impressions. First, James is a dynamic guy. He's always in motion, and he's one of those people that wants to talk to you, and he's not afraid to have a conversation about, well, anything. You'll hear that. My first question to James is, looking across at the nation's counties, do you have any hope for government in the country? His answer is an unequivocal yes, so there is reason to be optimistic. And since James is from Sonoma, California, well, first we had to talk wine. So coming up, the immediate past president of the National Association of Counties, James Gore. During his term, he represented all 3,069 counties across America. What if World War I never happened? What if these three royal cousins, King George of England, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany, and Tsar Nicholas of Russia, chose peace over pride? Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow has just released a new book. The Royal Cousins is a gripping alternate history that imagines how diplomacy and courage could have stopped a war that took 22 million lives. If only they'd used the principles of good government. Download The Royal Cousins now on Kindle. It's powerful, timely, and just 99 cents. And all the proceeds support our work here on The Good Government Show. Just search The Royal Cousins on Amazon today. Welcome back. James Gore, the current NACO president. We are here at the National Association of Counties. Welcome back to the show.
Look at you, David. Here we are again.
Here we are again.
Yeah. You look more young than ever.
You're a beautiful man. Beautiful for saying that. You are also a county supervisor in Sonoma County, California.
I am.
You are. Lots of hats, but we have to start at the very beginning. How's the Gore family Zinfandel? How is the wine coming? What are we drinking? What's the last bottle you opened?
Well,
we'll talk wine and then we'll get to the other stuff.
Well, as you and I have talked about in the past, is that I love the connections of wine to life, right? The first one is that the only good wine is one you like. The second thing is that everybody knows what a balanced wine is. You know when you drink a glass of wine, whether it's your first one or your 1,000th one, if it's too hot, which means too much alcohol, if it's too tannic, if it's too acidic. It's kind of like getting used to people. Some people just are a little off kilter. But the other thing that I've always loved, and we had a couple of killer wines the other night for dinner. We had a Knights Valley wine that was really opulent and done up. We had a Cab Franc, Ashes and Diamond at a Napa. I am Sonoma, so I don't drink too much Napa wine, but come on, it's really good. And then we had a Flowers Pinot Noir from the Sonoma coast, and they were good.
So when you go out to dinner with friends, do they just automatically hand you the wine list?
Yeah, and then I feel like I have to do something because the wine lists are big.
Yes.
Right? I mean, even even though
I
know, I grew up in the wine business and I worked in it a lot. Like, I mean, I don't know all that stuff, but I can figure something out.
All right. Yeah. What's it like to drink with your family?
My family is hilarious. We kind of swim in wine.
You're hilarious. Yeah, so makes sense.
We kind of swim in wine. So we'll do big feasts. We live in a place in California where everything grows great. Yep. Grows great, not just the grapes. We have phenomenal wine, but my house and then my brother's house across the street, he's growing heirloom tomatoes and cucumbers and potatoes and sweet corn. And then I have orchards on my property. So I have Meyer lemons and pomegranates and lettuce.
When you're with the family, who picks the wine?
It's a cornucopia. Whoever's house we're at, we raid each other's cellars because then it inspires you to drink the good stuff and not wait until it goes bad.
Gotcha. So a little family rivalry going on.
And the biggest thing about wine for anybody who doesn't know this is that the best wine comes from grapes that are grown under stress.
Okay.
The best wine does not come from this nice fertile field. It comes from these grapes. And it's kind of, I equate this to like people, is that you got more character if you're growing under stress. But physiologically, if you have a vine that is grown in an alluvial valley, just in like a high drainage with a ton of irrigation, it is not as high quality as something that is on the rocks and rocky soil and on the benchlands. And there's a reason for that. It's because when that vine struggles, what it does is it forces it not to put all of its energy into vegetation growth and all the BS. What it does instead is it forces it into its babies. It fears that it's not going to live since it's striving all the time. So it puts all of its energy and all of its content and umph into the berries. And so that's why you get these high intense berries and these intense flavors.
This has been Wine Talk with Jim and Dave. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were we supposed to talk about? Oh, government. I remember now. All right, you have just...
Government is very tannic right now. It's makes you want to pucker.
Yes, it does. Uh-huh. So you have been the president of NACO for the past year. You have traveled the country. You have talked to county government across the nation. We have had a very rough year, especially coming out of Washington. Give me a reason to be hopeful about government and about government that you've seen across the nation.
Well, there's a couple things. One is that I believe that hope has to be based upon resolve. And when I look around a group like this, when I have 3,069 counties that I report to as their president, not I lead, they are the leaders. I look around and I see a bunch of kick butt individuals who are delivering locally and are going to continue to deliver. The first counties were in the 1600s. They were called shires in areas in Virginia and in other places where our country was just fledgling and coming forward. And so counties have always been there and they always will be there. But I will acknowledge that we are in crazy times. We're in very divisive times. We're in fractured times. We can do a good job of coming here and focusing on the things that we agree upon and not focusing on those other things. But
you seeing that? Are you seeing that?
I absolutely am.
Okay, good.
Because these are practitioners.
Yep.
So there are people on the far left and the far right and the far whatever here at this conference who want to fight, who want to bring it up and do it. But basically, I deal with a lot of practitioners, people who don't get to abstain from votes locally. If, just like we're seeing with this big bill that passed, it's going to be a cost shift of $1 trillion over 10 years to counties. We don't have that kind of money. That means we're just going to have to do less with less. What do we do for the 17 million people who lose their health insurance? Yeah. What do we do for the benefits, the food and feeding benefits? There's this whole idea and this promulgation that the bill that just passed is going to create enough economic activity that everybody's going to have to take care of themselves. And I would love to see that happen, and I will fight to see that happen. But basically, this is a disruptive element. We are in disruptive times, and we're going to have to eat it and try and take care of people.
And are you seeing that? Are you seeing people being taken care of? Tell me about a project that you stumbled across in your past year as NACO president where you went, wow, that's a great idea.
Well, how crazy is this? Beaver County, Utah, southern Utah, right in the area where you get to the national parks. Highest per capita creation of renewable energy in this country.
Really?
Enhanced geothermal systems, moving and deploying. Solar everywhere, wind machines, data centers going in, and national parks there. I mean, who would think that when you go out into this country? At the same time, I look over, does anybody know that Texas is the #1 renewable energy producing state in this country?
I did not know
as
that.
much as renewable
energy
right now.
Did you know that before this year?
But yet, and then the other thing is that in my home state, my home country of California, you know, there's people each and every day are rising up. They're figuring out how to get diversion so that you get people, instead of having mental health issues, going into your jail and having our jails around this country being basically the de facto asylums for mental health, is having good diversion centers, creating placements, not just programs. I mean, I go around and I see great stuff everywhere, but you never hear about it because we are addicted to the bleeding lead. We are addicted to the dopamine and the antisocial networks, and I even doom scroll. I can't act like I'm not a part of it, but that dopamine fix does not sell well when you're like, hey, we just created a diversion and we don't have, we recycle 20% more than we did 4 years ago. People don't really go for that right now. And yet that
You're
good work
killing my whole vibe on the Good Government Show, by the way.
That has to be done. That's why you have to tell these stories, why people have to give a shit, because it's there.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if you have to delete that word from your show. But
no, we'll you know what? It's your character. I think we're going to be okay here.
I tell everybody my real political party is the Get Stuff Done Party, the GSD party.
One of the things that you said that you wanted to focus on when in your year as NACO president was us. Yeah. Do you feel like you succeeded?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But you have to be honest and you have to talk about the divisive we to be able to get to the unified we. I was just in a board forum. We have 130 with 3 board members. Think about that. That's either an asset or a liability.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to tell everybody here with National Association of Counties is, hey, we as NACO, we're fighting against a lot of the provisions of this bill and the other bills because it's a negative impact to counties. They're not just deleting programs, they're cost shifting them to us. Like we haven't, there's no mandate that's been removed for us to have to take care of what they call indigent care, which is the least fortunate in our communities. There's just a cost shift moving. And so I have to look to everybody and say, hey, I know a lot of you voted for this and you like what's happening, you like the disruption, but our job is to fight to protect counties. Are you okay with our tenor? And some of them challenge me. And I'm like, okay, well, thanks. And but by and large, unanimity is a farce. So if I get to 80-20, that's a super majority. We're good there.
We're good.
And we have a bunch of people who are rational. They know, even if they, look at this country voted for this and Congress, this was a tsunami.
Yes.
And I don't like what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be very loud about that back home, but when I'm with these folks, I'm going to figure out what business needs to be done because I'm a big boy and I'm an adult.
Do you feel like as you traveled the country over the past year and you heard and you saw and you were on the ground that there are people across the nation who are trying to, improve their little corner of the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Does it give you hope?
It does give me hope. And once again, what gives me hope are the examples of action. The young woman who sang the Star Spangled Banner this morning here, absolutely spectacular. I talked to her this morning. So what's she doing? Well, she's got a 2-year-old. She's a musician. She doesn't tour anymore because of the 2-year-old. And you know what she has? She has a nonprofit that she helps young kids who don't have opportunities to get into, learn singing lessons, learn to get into the institution. I see those stick with me because I see people stepping up and not just endeavoring, but acting to imperfectly achieve better each and every day. And I think as the world gets more and more lost in the esoteric everything, we're like, at a dinner table, I don't really want to talk to somebody about Iran's policy. Some people do that.
You want to talk why?
And I want to talk about what's going on in my community. I want to talk about what are we doing? What's going on? How are we taking, kitchen table is where a lot of conversations are going back to because it's a cacophony if you just get lost in the world.
Have you had a chance to focus on stuff in Sonoma for the past year?
100%.
I know I
actually am very different as a president of NACO than most. I have not traveled that much.
Okay.
I was very clear that I had a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and that doing this job for me was not going to every state convention and speaking to everybody and being an ambassador. It was internal. It was management. We have business structures that we have here. I've created 2 or 3 different task forces, a disaster task force that's trying to make sure that we reform FEMA, not delete it. We have homelessness efforts. I'm hosting all of these forums, but I don't have to travel everywhere to do it. I need to empower other leaders. I can suck up the oxygen in a room, but I don't have to. And it's amazing.
I would say you engage in the room.
Well, and it's amazing how contagious leadership is if you share it.
Yes. That's good leadership.
And it's amazing how when you grasp for every bit of it and you think and people, especially the narcissists in the world, and I'm not talking about the casual ones, I'm talking about the real ones.
Yes.
And we definitely have those in politics. We all know that.
I know that one of the issues that you worked on was you have a fire management program and challenge in Sonoma.
Yeah.
How have you improved it over the last few years?
Hell yeah.
What have you done?
That's the examples, right? 2017, mega fire burnt down 7,000 homes in our community. 2019, we had another huge one. We had adapted so quickly and had taken such a force to say never again, not never again a fire, but never again will we be caught on our heels. We had tested our alert and warning systems. We had evacuation zones. We had tech and we had wildfire cameras. So what did we do? We evacuated 40% of our community and we held the fire at those suburban and urban interchanges. A couple hundred of homes burned down horribly, but not thousands. 2020 during the pandemic, another mega fire again and again. We are killing it back home. And yet at the same time, the world will always throw us problems.
Okay.
You can't defend your community against every flood, every hurricane, every tornado, every earthquake, and every fire. But do you feel like
you're better prepared now?
Better prepared is part of it as government. Absolutely 100%. I'd put our emergency management system up against any of the 3,069 counties in this country. But number two, you got to remind people that resilience is about personal resilience. They have to be prepared. They need to know that they live in a world where I can take care of the systematic stuff, but they got to take care of themselves.
We're recording the show on a Saturday in July, and tomorrow your term actually officially ends.
Oh no, Monday.
Monday. Sorry, Monday.
Don't squeeze me.
You got 2 days. What are you going to do?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to fill up with it.
Okay.
Because
your last 2 days.
Well, here's the thing: is coming here this week. There is a deep. Kind of a foreboding feeling I was dealing with, which is how divided we are, how fractured politics are, how I was going to come here and be with 3,000 of my colleagues around the country. And how was I going to be authentic with them about not be general, like not talking about the real issues. The fact that this bill that just passed is the largest fiscal bill in our nation's history, adjusted for inflation. It's larger than the New Deal. It's larger than the past 4 bills that passed during the Biden years
but this
combined.
Takes money out, not puts money in.
Yeah, it takes money out. And so we have to talk about this. We have to be real. We have to be authentic, and we have to be grown-ups. And yet, for me, I always love it when I'm in the game. That mess. I mean, you can always prepare, you can always try and think, you can always intentionalize, but I love being with the people and looking them in the eyes and being like, hey, how you doing?
Yes.
Do you agree with me on this? No. Okay. Take care. Bye. Right? Like if I don't need to convince you of my opinion. If you're an old dog that doesn't want to learn something new. I tell people these days, my biggest pet peeve is strongly held, lightly informed opinions.
You might be living in the wrong era, my friend.
I know.
So you wake up on Tuesday morning, you look back on your year. What stands out for you?
What stands out to me is the relationships and the fact that that leadership is really all about succession. I got J.D. Clark, my brother from another mother. I'm a practical Democrat from California, and he's a practical Republican from Texas. And people wouldn't think that we would jive, and we are. We're all for it.
Good.
And we are. It's amazing how aligned we are, and people in this world wouldn't think that. And George Dunlap, who's coming behind, and the exec board is stronger than it's ever been. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And NACO has a great culture, and that was given to me, and I've been able to be a steward of it as a leader, and I feel like we've done well with it.
And I think the important thing here is that you've set an example, an outgoing example for someone to be a leader and to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be present.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun, and it was And it was another thing to do.
Was it harder than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah. But hard, not because I didn't let myself travel as much as others in the past have.
Okay.
I'm younger. I have kids. A lot of the people who have done this presidency in the past.
You did some traveling.
I did
got
some.
Around.
Yeah. But it's, life's all give and take. If I was going to ever complain, I would have to complain about my desire to get involved in everything, and then to have to deliver on what I've committed myself to.
There is at the local level, you have to get the work done, right?
Yeah.
And at the national level, you can talk about what you want to do. And at the national level, it seems like we're going in one direction. At the local level, we have to go in a different direction. Yeah. How do you square that?
The only thing you can do is do the work. You don't get to control the messaging. It's very hard because all of us would love, those of us who are digging in the trenches, delivering in the trenches of democracy at the county, the city level, whatever that might be, would love to figure out a way to change the issue of the lack of trust in government. But so much of that is dictated by the larger stereotypes that exist. I mean, it's very difficult to control what you can't control. So you better control what you can. And doing the work is all you can do each and every day. So I put my focus where I can. It's kind of like that old serenity prayer, right?
Yes.
I mean, Lord, grant me the whole issue about the strength to take on what I need to take on, the grace to release what I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So I just bludgeoned it, but that's good enough.
I think we got the idea.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to ask you the hard questions in just a minute.
Yeah.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. Once you wrap up this episode of The Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. All right, so please go back and listen to the original show that we did and then come back and listen. We're going to see if your answers have changed.
Okay.
A year of NACO president, NACO board before that, Sonoma County supervisor. Define good government.
Oh, good government is all about delivering results, just each and every day. Imperfect, relentless progress.
What have you seen people can do that makes an impact or a difference in government? The people.
Show up. The biggest thing, I saw a bumper sticker maybe 15, 20 years ago that said, the world is run by those who show up. And it's absolutely true. All
right. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? My wife inspires me.
That's out of force.
She's a badass. She keeps me grounded. She is a entrepreneur and she's got no ego. And then and I'm just I've become more and more of a family man than ever. My kids, my boy Jacob, we fish and do baseball. My daughter, we read together. And
all right.
Surmise about the future.
What keeps you in public service?
I refuse to subject my children to a pessimistic future.
That's simple. You basically want to be an example for them.
I used to, as a younger man, endeavor to just change the world, that whole adage of be involved and do it. But once I had kids, I realized that it's an inherent conflict to live a pessimistic, selfish life, because it's not just about providing an example to them. It's about working my butt off with all of these people to make sure that we don't leave them a big heaping pile of crap. And I'm tired of the fact that so many adults in this world don't embody that.
What would you like people to know about government now that you've been, at a fairly high level and had a national view too?
Yeah, it's messy. That doesn't mean it's dirty. It's messy. It's oftentimes it's more about relationships than it is about partisanship. Especially if you're on a county board, as in my county, It's not about political parties or even about if they're moderate or extremist. It's about the politics of personality. Are they risk averse? Is that person risk averse? Does that person like to be entrepreneurial? Do they like to lead staff? Do they like to have staff lead them? It's amazing to see how much of the world is really run by how people process life issues, decision making.
What was the best part of being NACO president?
Best part of being NACO president was, it was kicking it off. It was having my family there last year in Tampa when we gave our vision and did a speech and went through it. It was, I work with all these people and we don't talk about kids. We don't talk about that. We operate so much in the present, and it's really hard to focus everybody on the future because we are operating in the trenches. When you're in trench warfare every day, yes, you don't look up and see the horizon. You don't see where you're going because you try to propose a great idea and then somebody says, yeah, but you didn't pave my road, Bill. Or you're like, hey, I want to build this new system of water management for the future. And they're like, yeah, but you didn't get my permit process, James. So you have to deliver in the now and endeavor to be in the future. And I think that's a big thing for me.
What was the hardest part of being president?
Oh, the weight of reconciling that I have very strong opinions about the way the world is going.
Yes.
And that there's a part of me that puts that into my local life and my life and how to be authentic about that here. But at the same time, how to look people in the eyes that you deeply, deeply disagree with and you don't respect many of their positions.
Yes. And
to still have to sit with them and say, I'm going to be an adult enough to talk to you about the things that we can agree upon. All right. Like to be able to do that, and it's oftentimes people always say, oh, you just got to focus on what you agree upon. Well, if what you disagree upon is visceral to you and it's impacting people who are close to you in your lives, it's hard to reconcile that, but that's life.
All right.
That's life.
So the next question I usually ask is, what's your favorite local dish? And your answer the last time I asked you was come to your house and you're going to cook me a steak.
Ribeye.
Ribeye, yep. I'm going to ask you a different question though. Yeah. You and I are going to sit down. We're looking at a wine list. What are you going to have me sample?
Ooh, you know what I'm going to have is, let me see.
Think about that.
Yeah, I do have to think about that because
you got to make the right choice.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
It can't just be the best wine. It has to be the right experience.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Garden Creek has, which my friends, Justin and Karen, created, and small operation, Colt Wines and Alexander Valley. They have a wine that they call Tesserae, which is really a Bordeaux blend. So it's a Cabernet based wine, and it's some of the best stuff in Alexander Valley or anywhere. But the authenticity that they imbue into every part of growing and processing and creating and, their tasting experience. And it's not foo-foo, it's authentic. They are farmers, right? So it's just the right mojo. So that's what it embodies. And it's a strong damn wine. So it'd have to be at least 7 to 10 years old.
All right. So let's just reopen Wine Talk with James and Dave.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody who's not a real wine drinker? I mean, because wine lists can be intimidating. People look at them and they go, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody?
My dad used to say the only good wine is one you enjoy. Okay. Now I'll tell you, if I put good wines in front of people, they like them.
But
right?
but if you're not as wine knowledgeable as yourself, what do you tell people?
I tell everybody, you know the difference between something that's balanced and unbalanced, just like you know that about a person, just like you know that about an experience. Once again, is like the basic elements of wine, and you're looking at balance. Is there's a tartness, which is the normal acidity. There is a pucker flavor, which is tannins. Yeah. Right? There is there sugar in it, and it's supposed to be a dry wine because usually when they leave residual sugar in, they do it to cover up inconsistencies and blemishes in kind of a good wine. Is it too flat? Is it too watery? Is it too acidic? Right? Now, I could say all those things to people, but I can actually put a wine in front of them and be like, does that taste balanced or not?
Okay.
And they know.
All right. So balance.
They know. Yeah.
Check for balance. All right.
Yeah. So now I'm a kind of funny guy because I also say that I meet balance. I create balance by averaging extremes.
All right. But that works.
But that's
too.
my life.
All right. This is the Good Government Show, and we always bring it back to good government before we wrap up. You told me about a couple of things. Tell me about something, some good government project or some good government program that you uncovered in the last year that you said, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm taking that home?
This country, if you look at what's happening locally and you try and extrapolate it or connect it to with what are the big things that are going on in this country and the future. We took these tours to 4 or 5 counties in Tennessee near Oak Ridge National Laboratories, and the energy revolution is upon us. You know, the real space age of our times is the AI race. It is data centers. It is the fact that even though we have more renewable energy than ever, our electricity consumption is going up crazy. But these counties are becoming hubs of innovation for that world. The work that they're doing to site locations to be able to connect new forms of energy, enhance geothermal systems, all these other things, it made me very hopeful, as you say. It's very inspiring to go to a place where there's a national laboratory that has the fastest supercomputer in the world, and they're developing fusion technology, and it's going to be here in 20 years. And then you're also trying to go what does that mean as AI gets implemented locally? And, right now we could have autonomous driving cars everywhere. And one of the biggest jobs in this country is our drivers. And so what's the big displacement that's happening? So even though I'm excited about things, local, statewide, national, innovations, we are in for massive amounts of more disruption, not just from this presidency, but from technology, from innovation, from climate change. And so, saddle up and get ready for the ride. Do you want to be involved or not?
Yep.
That's your choice.
James Gore, the county supervisor from Sonoma County, California, a professional wine drinker and the outgoing president of NACO. James, always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. A few things I hope you caught. James Gore is a Sonoma, California county supervisor. He's also the immediate past president of the National Association of Counties. James says government is messy, but that doesn't mean it's dirty. I also liked when he said, deliver in the now, but plan for the future. And his mantra as a government official is, deliver imperfect, relentless progress. Imperfect, relentless progress. I like that. Mostly, I just like his optimism. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. And join us again for another episode right here where you're listening. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.